I've never had such a terrible like to dislike ratio, and I think that's kind of iconic. Who signed off on this? I would just like to have a little conversation. That's a no thank you for me. Hi, welcome. So today's video is really exciting because I'm going to be reviewing, giving my honest thoughts, critiquing your most requested comebacks and a debut. So I asked you guys on my community tab, what are some comebacks that you really want me to talk about? And a lot of you guys were mentioning things I've already made videos about, which tells me that you guys don't have post notifications turned on, which you totally should, by the way. But regardless, I'm going to link some videos down below of the recent comebacks that you guys are requesting that I have talked about already. Was that a whoa? Do you ever just watch like 20 ATEEZ compilations and cut that out? So the first comeback we're going to talk about is NCT's Kick It. And I feel like including NCT in this video and the thumbnail is the only way to get Markley Spears to respond to my DMs. So I am accepting applications for new friends. So you have to be able to respond to my DMs within less than 21 hours. That's really the only criteria. But before we get into it, I'm going to stop you right there to remind you to subscribe, like, comment, join my channel memberships. Okay, so style-wise, before we actually get into the NCT127, 127, did anyone else get Run Devil Run vibes? Like down to the very chunky highlights in dark hair. But also, did I make that up in my head? Only post-production Angelina will know. Okay, so listening to the song itself feels like a very intense experience, and I'm not really sure how I feel about it. I feel like if the chorus was a little bit more simple, had a little bit less going on, that I might vibe with the song a little bit more. But as of now, it just feels like intensity itself. I felt the same way about Wonderland by ATEEZ when I first listened to it. It threw me off, it put me off. But now I love Wonderland, so don't get mad. But I do think it's a cool song. It just, initially really wasn't my cup of tea. But I definitely see the allure. This comeback has everything you could really want. It has so many elements that helps it stick out. It has a catchy chorus, a really simple killing part in the choreography that looks really cool, a very recognizable color scheme. It has it all. It's just very intense. So for me, I don't think I would download the song, but I see the allure and I do think it's catchy. But man, does this ever give me EXO vibes? I'm not even scared of XOLs. After the whole Chris did the floating thing first in the 2012 Chinese version of Mama music video. We won't get into that. But just know, I've never had such a terrible like to dislike ratio, and I think that's kind of iconic. I said what I said, and I own that. Admittedly, I was sick and running a fever. But, you gotta live life without fearing what K-pop stans are gonna do to your life. There was definitely a part in the song where the intensity died down, and then there was just some really nice vocals, and I was brought right back to 2012, possibly 2011. What is Love, anyone? It doesn't sound like What is Love, but I feel like it's such an amazing EXO song and I wanted to bring it up and talk about it. If there are any What is Love enthusiasts watching right now, please leave it down in the comments below. I think that is hands down EXO's best song ever. I'm an OT12 stan. Don't at me! Anyways, so as for the outfit, I do like the leather. I do love the black and yellow themes going on. However, these Versace outfits, who signed off on this? I would just like to have a little conversation. Versace, sorry. Because the whole music video has this black and yellow theme, and you all know I love black and yellow to death. But then suddenly there's these black, white, and red outfits, and I just see Versace written very obnoxiously on one of the shirts, and that's a no thank you for me. By the way, I know no one asked, but I feel like my bias in NCT127 is between Yuta and Johnny. It used to be Taeyong because of the parrot, but you know what? I have to say, how can one resist such an impeccable parrot imitation? Yeah. And someone actually sent me this video of Doyoung with a parrot as well. NCT is that parrot group. How am I not a stan yet? I have no idea. Now we're going to move on to AleXa. So before we get into AleXa, I just want to say I follow her on Instagram. I love her. I love her music. And I feel like I've complained a lot in the past about us collectively as a community letting evil fail. And I've also longed a lot for someone to come in and revive such a concept. And I feel like AleXa is out here just doing the most. She took a concept like that, revived it, modernized it, and completely made it her own. And I love her for that. And I mean, so far in both of her songs, there hasn't been ever anything that I've disliked. There's never been any fashion that I've disliked. And I've loved both of these songs. So Do or Die is amazing. I love it. I love the vocals. I love the storyline. I love how the storyline follows off where Bomb ended. And I mean, she's consistent. She has so much energy on stage. I literally have nothing bad to say. And Do or Die definitely maintains the sense of familiarity that was introduced to us in her debut with Bomb. And again, I love how the storyline just continues on, just with thankfully less scary shoes. I mentioned in my 2020 hopes and predictions video for K-pop that I would love to see her perform on more music shows. And luckily she has been performing on so many more music shows. I've gotten to see so many more outfits, so many more stages, and I'm really happy for that. So the only critique that I've really seen about this song is the presence of a lot of English lyrics within the lyrics. That was dumb. Anyways, so I'm going to try to explain this the best way that I can. I just personally feel that people tend to search for too much purity within a language. And then when you do see a language mixed with another language, people tend to view that as very low. And as someone who grew up bilingual, it's definitely something that people do not appreciate. And I understand why they don't, because from a sociolinguistic perspective, you know, it makes sense. There's language hierarchy. There are high varieties of languages and low varieties of languages, and the lower varieties tend to have different languages mixed together, etc., etc. So, like, I get it, but I don't agree with it, and I think the song is perfect the way it is. And you also have to take into account that you were taught to think this way, right? I mean, especially if you grew up in a bilingual place and you went to school in one of the languages that you spoke. Generally, the schools themselves are going to tell you to not mix the languages together, that it's unprofessional, it doesn't look good, all that jazz, when in reality, it's just, you know, people's vernaculars, it's just the way people talk, you know, it doesn't have to be demonized. And it should not be demonized. But yeah, overall, super catchy song. Love the music video. Love her stages because you can actually hear her voice. It gives me second gen vibes. So the next song we're going to talk about is ONEUS, A Song Easily Written. I keep wanting to say ONEUS. Leave down in the comments below if any of you still pronounce it ONEUS, because me. So admittedly, the only reason I even gave this song a chance is because I'm subscribed to ITZY Karma. I recently started binge watching her videos. I love her. She's a fellow francophone, so I mean, admittedly, I just watch whatever she puts out. Otherwise, I don't really think I would have, you know, personally sought out this song. So definitely go check out ITZY Karma. She seems so sweet and genuine and just like a light of positivity. So I did make a video about Lit back in the day, though admittedly it was comparing it to Idol. So I have heard and seen a music video by them before, though really the only thing I do know from them is from what I've seen on their weekly Idol appearance with ATEEZ, where they graciously adopted Mingi for a second. 7 made one team that day. But I have to say, I actually really vibed with the sound of this song, and Coco City reminded her, is that her name? I fucking hope that's her name. Reminded her of Mamamoo Starry Night. I can definitely hear that, and I can definitely appreciate that. You know, the whistling, the softness, it was all very nice. Also, I like the title of the song. You know, just like looking at the song title, you can kind of get a gist of how maybe this will be a heartbreak song, and it did not fail in delivering that message. However, just the music video itself, I was a tad bit underwhelmed. I mean, even like fashion wise, it was a little bit underwhelming. There wasn't really a storyline, though maybe I just don't know ONEUS's thing. But I mean, if you did compare it to Lit had a lot more extravagance in both the music video sets and the fashion. And just, you know, comparing it to the only other thing I know of them, it was a little bit underwhelming, except for these outfits. So again, I love this type of fit of outfit, just like looser blazers, kind of shapeless, but I love how they mixed the pink with orange. I feel like that just added a little twist to maybe otherwise outfits that have been done consistently. But I should definitely clarify that it's not that the music video wasn't fuck that word. It's not that it wasn't nice. I just tend to have a short attention span. So for me, I love when things are extravagant and colorful and kind of in my face like that. Moving on to Dreamcatcher's comeback with Scream. So this is probably the most requested comeback that you guys wanted me to talk about. So here it is. I definitely loved the beginning text that said, "One day the light suddenly did not come. People forgot how to say good things." I feel like you just feel something like that in your soul without any explanation. Dreamcatcher usually, and I say this as someone who's literally heard 3 songs, have a very interesting sound, usually like a very non-traditionally K-pop sound. However, I find it kind of works within the realm of K-pop nevertheless. Now, I don't know if this is going to make sense, but I feel like Scream was more digestible than Deja Vu. I definitely thought their last comeback sounded nice, but I maintain that Scream, maybe, I could be totally wrong, I feel like it might have more of a synthetic sound, which might be a little bit more digestible to a K-pop audience, if that makes sense. I mean, it just had so many elements that, you know, you could fall in love with. It had very beautiful vocals. Someone had purple hair. It had these goth vibes. This seemed like a little bit softer while maintaining, you know, this badass goth image that they have. And I really liked it and I love listening to it. And I mean, the music video was also very stunning as well, though I am about to say something a little bit obnoxious. Some parts of the music video just reminded me a little bit of Going Crazy, and obviously I know they're different. Just, you know, the color scheme brought me back to a time where we romanticized really creepy behavior, but I mean, let's be honest, that was the entirety of 2011. But I digress. I have nothing bad to say about Dreamcatcher. The song was beautiful. It kind of gives me this vibe, like I want to just walk dramatically down the street with my dog, like at night while listening to it. And definitely the music video was beautiful as well. And I'm also very excited to see more from them. Okay, so we're going to talk briefly about MCND's debut with Ice Age. Now, the first time I listened to it, it really wasn't my cup of tea, but I thought I'll give it another chance, and I can see how it could be catchy. But one thing I did really like about this debut was the choreography. I watched one of their music show performances and I liked the different formations that they used. I thought that was pretty original, and the choreography definitely was a standout point for me, and I definitely like this little toe touch. So the last comeback we're going to briefly touch on is Weki Meki's comeback with Dazzle. So, I do like the song Picky, though I admittedly changed the lyrics to Freaky. My mom actually called me out on that. She's like, the song's called Picky, what are you doing? I was like, okay, Mom. My mom used to play 21's I Am the Best really loud in her car in the parking lot when she would pick me up to school to assert her dominance over the other moms. But the fact that she called me out on that was really surprising because she doesn't even know that 21 disbanded. So no shade, Mom, but like, let me breathe. So as for the song itself, it wasn't really my cup of tea. I didn't really vibe with it. However, the entire aesthetic of this music video is absolutely stunning. I love the hair choices, the blue, the black and pink, though admittedly I don't really like the colors black and pink together. I'm definitely really a sucker of pink themed music videos. So A-Pink's Blackpink's As If It's Your Last, Z-Girl's Streets of Gold, and I feel like this is kind of on the same wavelength, that it has like a pink tint to it at times. I'm a sucker for that. I love it so much. So though the song, I don't really vibe with it, even though it does give me like very, very little second gen vibes. I appreciate that. But what I really appreciate definitely is the aesthetic of everything. Actually, I just rewatched the music video now and I'm kind of vibing with the song and kind of that like killing point. I think it's the killing point where they're like moving their leg side to side. I think I'm gonna have to give it another chance because that was pretty good. Dazzle me. My reviewed thoughts on this is that it's actually quite catchy and honestly really reminiscent of a second gen song, along with the dance as well. I mean, looking back on the dance, it's a lot of fun and I think it'd be a really fun choreography to learn. And the color scheme, though it's not always pink, it does seem very cohesive to me and just overall very aesthetically pleasing. I mean, honestly, oops. And I also really appreciated the outfits. I definitely loved the soft pink material mixed with this not hot pink, what the fuck am I on? Mixed with this pink leather material. But overall, I'm kind of a little bit sad that I didn't give this song the proper chance the first time, because now it seems like the era is kind of over, right? I mean, all the music shows have been done by this point already. So let's enter sentimental hours with Angelina. I don't know why I feel a sense of sadness when you have to like look back on an era without actually having experienced it firsthand. I definitely feel this way about ATEEZ's Say My Name. I love that era so much. I love the clothing, but I never really got to experience that era firsthand. I can just look back on it as a new fan. Like, I wish I would have given it the chance. Does anyone else feel the same way? Like, I am beyond thankful that I was able to live and breathe and experience a time where 21 existed. And I can't imagine, you know, just having to look back on that and not having the memories that I do. Like, it's like the most soul crushing thing. And I know there are worse things in this world, but I choose not to address my traumas, and I'd much rather get sad over petty shit instead. Okay, I'm going to end the video right here. Those were the most requested comebacks and a debut that were requested for me to talk about. If you guys like this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up so I can know that I should do more in the future. Or if you didn't like it and you prefer that I do really one-on-one videos for each comeback, then you can let me know as well. Anyways, don't forget to subscribe, like, share this video, and you can also join my channel memberships. I will see you guys next time. Bye. And no, I'm not unblocking Marky Spears from Twitter.